Welcome to another episode of the Clever Angle Podcast. I'm your host, Tevin McGee, and today's guest is Aaron Meyer from Full Circle Media. He's the general manager. Aaron, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Yeah, man. So, what's your life been like during this pandemic? I know for me, it's just been honestly, work hasn't really changed too much for me and my wife. I hate wearing masks. I legitimately feel like I always leave my mask at home. So, like, how have you been adjusting to this new kind of normal?
Yeah, for me, it really nothing much has changed. I mean, I work from home. We don't have an office, so we just kind of all work from our homes and communicate through Slack and stuff like that. But yeah, literally nothing much has changed. The only thing that has changed is if I do go anywhere, yeah, I got to mask up. I feel like I'm gearing up for war, basically. But yeah, it's been interesting trying to accommodate to social distancing and making sure I'm not in anybody's face or anything like that. So it's weird having that subconscious work.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's kind of crazy, man. I never thought that we would be here, especially coming off of last year. You mentioned Slack, which is something that's interesting because before I decided that I wanted to do podcasting and just jump into like this media space, coding was something that I was really looking into, and that's like something I heard over and over. Can you explain Slack a little bit to me?
Yeah, so Slack, basically Slack is it's a software that you can have on your computer or your phone if you want to do it on your app. But it allows you to communicate honestly quicker and more effectively with your team. Um, it's easy to upload documents, any links. You can have private channels, DMs, all that sort of stuff. You can group it into certain projects, certain clients. You can invite your clients or other members that may be joining on projects. It's super helpful, especially when you don't have the ability of having an office.
Yeah. So before we dive into the full circle media and your journey of how you got there, I want to tell a quick story real quick. So if you like, so basically, I associate certain things with certain people, and so like when I think of Mark Cuban, I think of the Dallas Mavericks. When I think of Will Smith, I think of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And every time I think of you, there's two things that come to my mind. Do you have any idea what those two things are?
Uh, I do not.
Okay, so I don't know if this was Monty or somebody had told me this, but basically, one thing I always remember about you is that if you went to A State within a certain amount of years, like I think it was like '06 to before or whenever that was. Um,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. You were a part of the class that was building the Red Wolf Center. So I think it was Monty that told me that you had like a lifetime membership to the Red Wolf Center. So every time I think of you, I'm just like, man, I wonder if Meyer still goes up there and lifts or plays ball or anything because I'm a big pickup basketball fan, and I have not found anywhere else in Jonesboro that had the quality runs of the Red Wolf Center. So that's something I
Uh,
always think about.
yeah, that's actually, I think my class was like the last year when they
Yeah,
did that, and I just lucked out, and I still have that card, man.
yeah, yeah. I know. That's
it
what I'm
it
saying.
actually it actually still has my freshman picture, so I look like a baby,
Yeah,
and it's crazy. I'm like very loyal to that card. I have now. Granted, I have not gone to the Red Wolf Center in ages. Uh, I need to, but like the Red Wolf Center being on campus, they accommodate to college kids, but like their timing is a little bit different than my timing now. Especially having a toddler and being married and working full time. So it's sometimes their hours are different than mine. But yeah, dude, I would love to go play some pickup basketball. I haven't played in a long time.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. I always think about that. I'm like, man, yeah. Every time I see you and your wife walking quite a bit in the neighborhood. And I'm like, man, yeah, Meyer used to be in the Red Wolf Center playing some ball. But yeah, I haven't played it since COVID, so it's definitely something that I want to get back into doing once everything kind of stabilizes for sure.
Hey, if you do, let me know.
Oh yeah, yeah, I will
I'll
definitely.
try to I'll try to get you in for free too. I'll
Oh
try to
yeah,
slip that.
yeah, yeah. See, that would be awesome. My wife's first cousin is actually still at ASU, and he's in like the PT program. So anytime I do go up there, I'll go with him, and we'll play some ball and stuff. So, but yeah, it's like the floors in there are just so nice. I'm really blown away that that gym is in Jonesboro for sure.
Oh yeah, it's Jonesboro's community center basically.
Oh yeah. So the second thing, okay, this was another story, and this was like a more uh, trauma-based story that I'm sure you remember. Um, I
Yeah, I
don't,
remember that.
yeah, I don't remember very many details about this day. I remember Monty was in there. You and me were on the same team. We'd been in there for a little while, and yeah, like this guy legitimately punches me in the face over a call. Like I never saw the punch coming. I've actually seen this guy multiple times, like throughout, um, since then. But yeah, those are the two things that I think about: getting punched in the Red Bull Center. You were on my team, and then just you have a lifetime membership to that gym.
Yeah, dude, I vividly remember that because I like fear. It was you and Monty, I believe,
Yeah,
both
yeah,
of y'all.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I like feared for y'all's life
yeah. It,
because I remember the game was over with, and there was a couple of us, like three or four of us, that just went to go get some water and come back, and literally like just you could see through the glass and like open the door, like both the I think Monty was on the ground and
yeah,
you were like leaning over, like both y'all was just blood running down your face,
yeah.
and it's just like what happened.
Exactly. It was a crazy situation, and honestly, that's the reason why they made it a little bit more stricter of who can come in and out of the Red Wolf Center. Because back in the day, you used to be able to just pay $3 and go in, and you didn't have to have like a sponsor or somebody go with you.
Yeah.
But that guy just kind of ran out and changed how they went forward through then. But um, yeah, those are the two things that when I think about, those are the two things I think about when I think about you. So
That's great. I guess that's good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's awesome. Like I said, I was always a little envious that you had a lifetime membership to that gym.
I'm glad you reminded me. I need to start using that. We got a Peloton, and like we love it. It's great now because we don't have to go to the Red Wolf Center. But
Yeah,
man, if everything opens back up, I, I need to get back to the Red Wolf Center.
no, for sure, man, for sure. So have you ever been a guest on a podcast before?
I have. I think I've been. I know I've been on uh, a podcast that a buddy of mine runs. It's his business. I think it's Digital Agency Insiders. I've been on an episode on that, and I know I've been on an episode for another podcast. I forgot what it was though.
Oh,
It was a
okay. So,
long time ago.
yeah, you're just pretty popular. You're just a hot commodity as far as podcast
No,
guests.
no, I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. I
Yeah,
just fill the gaps.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Honestly, I've asked this question to pretty much everyone that's been on my show, and you're the only person to say yes, I've been a guest on a show. So that's crazy.
Hey, well, I mean, if people ask, I try to help them out.
There you go. There you go. I appreciate that, man. Okay, so I love podcasts. In the job that I'm currently working right now, I get to listen to a lot of podcasts. So I was just curious, what are some of your favorite podcasts to listen to?
Mm, uh, I used to I used to listen to a lot of Gary V.
Yeah.
Uh, And as far as like marketing side, I would listen to like Russell Brunson and like Marketing Secrets.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good. Um, Man, there was another one. Mainly those two. I haven't listened to podcasts in a long time because I mean I don't travel as much, but
Yeah.
those were the two.
Okay, okay. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the thing that got me into podcast were I listen to a lot of like true crime podcasts, anything that's like a storytelling slash like
Yeah,
audio drama. Those kind of things kind of draw me in. So I listen to Crime Junkie, Up and Vanished. I listen to a few marketing things, a few business type things. I listen to Dave Ramsey,
yep,
just whatever I can get my hands on that it's like a good, almost like audiobook knowledge type of podcast. I like listening to. So for sure.
yeah, yeah. For me, if it's like if you can tell they have passion behind it, then I'm in.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's just like they're reading it like it's an audio like a instructional manual, then I'm out.
Yeah. 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 Definitely have to be able to keep your attention, especially if they don't have, the visual aspect to it for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is another random thing. I came across you in a podcasting group, and you were saying how, like, in the future, you wanted to start a podcast. What was that? What would that podcast be about?
Man, we've that's one of our goals is to have a podcast. We just don't right now we don't have the time to allocate to make it fantastic. But yeah, we've always talked about like if we were going to do a podcast, we'd want to make it like 50% Price is Right and 50% like the profit, like the show The Profit.
Oh, I love that show, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I love how he like dissects businesses and industries and like what would work, what might not work, and but we also like don't want to make it just like you're doing this wrong, try this out, you're doing this right, like a Q&A, but like make it also like where we can have fun, like make it like a game show, like could you spin a wheel that had six different industries on it and then throw a dart at a location and then Google whatever business name in that location and just like go to town as far as marketing. Like, what's their website look like? Social media presence? Are they running ads? Like, do they have any videos? Like, this is what I would recommend. you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that sounds awesome. I would definitely either watch that show or listen to that podcast. So, I mean, whenever you guys get time, I definitely let me know when that goes live.
Yeah, I mean, heck, by the time it does, I'll probably hit you up to be a guest on it.
Hey, hey, I'll be right there, man. I'll be right there. I'll be happy to sit down. I've honestly never been a guest on another podcast, so I could definitely mark that off the bucket list.
Oh yeah, we got to change that.
Oh yeah. So okay, so let's dive into the interview. Um, so tell me about Full Circle Media. What does your time at the company look like?
Uh, well, Full Circle Media, we're a digital media company, so for us, we kind of run the gamut as far as digital marketing. So we do websites, we do lead generation through Google Ads and Facebook Ads. We do video. We also do some social posting, but that's not really our like what we want to go down as far as a rabbit hole. It's more of an add-on is what we're helping with some clients. Um, but then, yeah, I mean, as far as we do a little SEO, but we outsource that to the trusted like third-party provider. And for us, as far as like our team, really it's kind of a close knit group. It's myself, Brad, our videographer. I have Donna, our VA, and then we have a graphic design intern that's helping us on a couple of projects, Kaylee.
Wow. So how long have you been with this company?
Uh, it's been 2 years, a little over 2 years.
That's crazy. So what does a typical day look like for you within the business?
Oh, I was typical days. I'm waking up like 5:36 trying to get the kiddo up,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I
but
already
yeah,
know, man.
yeah, within the business, typically about I'll start once I've dropped the kid off. Laura's at work, usually from like 8 to 9. I'll look over our financials and kind of see where we're at, send any invoices, pay invoices, and I'll look at kind of my to-do list that I set at the end of every day for the next day, and kind of prioritize which one should I handle that day, and kind of go from there. So I'll basically, during those tasks throughout the day, set myself up to where I can at least knock at least 2 to 3 of those out of the list, so I can just make progress. And then usually around 5 o'clock, I'll go pick up the kiddo, and then anything that I feel like is necessary that needs to get done that night. Once Laura's in bed, kiddo's in bed, usually 9:30, 10, I'll go back and get that stuff done. Usually go to bed around midnight.
Hey, that sounds like a pretty familiar day. That sounds about what I do as well. So I
Yeah.
can definitely relate to that. You mentioned that you had a pretty small, close knit team. So did you just create this company, or how did it go about, like you landing there?
So it originally started. I was working at KIT, local TV station here, and there was a client of mine at the TV station that had they've been a client ever since I started working there, and they needed. I noticed they needed a person to help with marketing, and so as years went by with KIT, we had those discussions even further, and then they actually started Full Circle Media, and I ran it. So that's how I came into it, and I knew that we would need another person, especially someone with a different skill set as mine, and Brad was that person. So me and Brad kind of jumped in together with this, and kind of ran from there. And then we started. We got a VA, virtual assistant. If you don't know what that is, her name's Donna, but she handles all the minute tasks that need to be done. And then just this year, we got a graphic design intern. So it's been a wild ride.
Okay, so are you still part of the KAIT team, or like are you your own separate
Oh
entity?
yeah, no, I left KIT 2 years ago, and we are our own separate Full Circle Media.
Okay, that's really interesting. I never knew that story, but well, it's crazy how one opportunity can lead to another like that.
Yeah, yeah, and it's been great. I mean, it's definitely been a learning process.
Yeah, so one of the main reasons I wanted to start this podcast was I just vividly remember being 18 and really not knowing what I wanted to do as far as like major, career wise. So I ended up having like a pretty stressful transition to the workforce from college. I thought that getting a degree would guarantee me success, or like this career that was going to answer all of my questions. What was that experience like for you?
Oh man, uh, I had the same mindset. I mean, you go into it, especially at a high school, thinking that, well, I'll just go to college and it's like a guaranteed job, or like I have a 99% chance of just landing a job. And once I went through college and then got out of college, I I really lucked out, honestly, transitioning right out of college to KIT. Like that was my first job right out of college, and it was to actually sell advertising, sell TV advertising. So I really lucked out because the I did 2 internships at college, but the one internship I did, my last one, shout out to Laura Pickens in the marketing department at St. Bernard's. She helped me tremendously, because she actually said, "Hey, we don't have a job here for you, but um, I feel like you might be a good fit here. You may want to go talk to them." And I did, and they didn't have a job for me at the time. However, we just had coffee, and they said, "Hey, let's just talk, and when we do have a position open, we'll reach out." 6 months later, they did, and never looked back.
That's so crazy. So touching back on college for a minute, like what was your experience like as a whole in college? Like what did you major in? And can you tell us a little bit more about the internships that you went through?
I majored in marketing. Um, and honestly, I chose that because I wanted to start a business. I just didn't know what, and I knew that was kind of the biggest piece. So I majored in marketing. I originally did my first semester at Black River Tech in Pocahontas, my freshman year. And then I went to ASU Mountain Home because I was living with my mom, uh, and when she moved there. And then my sophomore, junior, and senior year, I was at A State in Jonesboro. But yeah, it college experience, man, was just I found it to be more about getting to know people and understanding social situations, um, rather than honestly book work. Uh, I think college prepared me for two things: to understand social situations and form relationships, but most of all, just set a goal for yourself and achieve it. I mean, it could have took me 7 years to graduate with a degree, but you still did it. You know what I mean? Now I'll preface: it didn't take me 7 years, but as long as you have that goal ahead of you.
Yeah, yeah. And so I did my internship at St. Bernard's Health and Wellness, and it was a great learning experience. Can you tell us a little bit more about the internships that you did while you were in college?
I did two. The first one was honestly a dud. It was a dud of an internship. I'll be frank. uh, it was an internship with the marketing person at a orthodontist business, and which I don't even think they're it's the same. I think they got bought out. But yeah, it was just a dud. I walked in every day not knowing, you know, what was going on, what I needed to do. I think, in fact, for like 2 days straight, I baked cookies, and that was part of my internship because they were going
Why
to wrap them up.
why did you bake
Yeah,
cookies?
I know. I baked cookies for 2 days straight, and they wrapped them up and gave them to the local manufacturing facilities as like a kind gesture to kind of get in the door and provide, um, I think, some discounted orthodontic services. But yeah, I mean that was my job. uh, the other one that was a whole lot better was with St. Bernard's, the marketing department, and that was with Laura Pickens, Eric Watson, Meredith Cook, uh, who else? Uh,
So
Miss
was it
Rebecca.
so was it required for you to have two internships? Like
No, I. So what happened is you're required to have, I think, one internship. I think,
yeah.
and so I did that first one at the orthodontist, and it was just a dud. And I had to take one more semester for one more class. It was just like a mandatory class that I happened to miss. So I took that class, and I just didn't want to take the class and nothing else. So I looked for another internship that could help. So I lucked out into St. Bernard's marketing department looking for an intern, and got it. And yeah, it was probably the best thing I've ever done as far as through the college. Um, that I'll that set me where I am today.
Yeah, so what are some of the projects and things you worked on during your internship?
Oh man, I helped with their health and fitness expo. Did some internal marketing for some of their like 5Ks that they had going on. Sat in on some great meetings. Just one with an agency that they had at the time. another just internal marketing meetings about how they're planning certain events, certain marketing campaigns. Um, yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like the internship that I did when I was at St. Bernard's Health and Wellness. Um, my major, first of all, was health promotion. So it was health promotion and exercise science people that were interning there. So it was me and two other interns, and we worked at health and wellness. And basically, we got to work with some of the homeschool kids from age 8 to 17, and they were transitioning from homeschool to actually playing in public school sports. So we were helping them with like agility drills and weightlifting and different things like that. Because I honestly didn't know that you could be homeschooled, but you could play sports for like Brooklyn and Nettleton and some of the other high schools that are around here. So
Huh.
it was really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I knew they had like, don't they have like a homeschool like league?
Yeah, yeah, they have like different little groups and stuff that you can go to meet other kids that are homeschooled and little like you said leagues. But once it gets to like high school and different things, you can actually opt in to play for one of the surrounding schools, which was really cool. Seeing these kids go from, you know, being in a controlled workout environment to actually playing for a school was really cool.
Yeah, that is pretty neat.
Yeah, so transitioning to after graduation, we're going to talk about job search for a little bit. You said it was about 6 months after you talked to uh, someone that they said they were going to hit you up about a job. So, what did that transitional period look like? So, you have two internships underneath your belt. Did you do anything to like kind of beef your resume up? And what other jobs did you apply for during that time?
Uh, man, I let's see. After I graduated, um, I applied for I don't even know if they're still around. They probably are. A food service job to I get if I remember right, the job was to sell basically food supplies. Like if you need Idaho potatoes or if you need whatever some meat. I think it was for like Gordon Food Services or something like that. I went to Memphis, interviewed with them, um, and I had not heard back. And then it was probably maybe a couple weeks later is when KIT reached out and said, "Hey, we have a position opening. Would love for you to interview."
Oh,
Um, it was there was that, and I forget the other place, but yeah, I sent my resume, across all the positions of like Indeed and all the major the major job listing sites.
yeah. So, would you say that you had an easy or more difficult time trying to find a job? Like, what was your mental space at during that time?
Oh, during the time I thought it was difficult because just like we talked about, that mindset of like, if I get a degree, I should have a job right out the gate. And I know 6 months isn't that long, but you just kind of wonder like, man, what do I really like want to do? And you start to just be like, I just need a job. Because
Exactly.
at the time I was a server at Colton's.
Dude, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember you used to work there. We came there for it was either Houston's birthday or something like that. Like a huge group of us. I forgot you used to work there. The
it was
T-shirts and everything.
yeah, it was were you there with Morgan's last night?
Yes, yes, I was.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, that's where Laura says she met me, but I think it was at Longhorn.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
Yeah, without going on a tangent, I always wondered how you and Laura knew each other, but that's a separate podcast in itself.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man, that's crazy because I think that's like what college students and post college students. That's one of the main things that you do as soon as you graduate. Like you find like a food job. Like that's an easy job. They're always hiring. I worked at Outback Steakhouse for 6 years. So Yeah, it was a lot longer than 6 months, but I know what you were going through, and yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I cannot believe I forgot that you used to work at Colton's.
Yeah, I worked there all through college.
Yeah.
Started as a busboy cleaning tables.
Oh man, that just sends me through so many bad memories.
Yeah,
Bussing
yeah,
tables was horrible, bro.
I
Oh
know,
gosh.
I know, I know. But I mean, looking back on it, like it made me appreciate the busboys when I was a server.
Yeah.
So,
I still appreciate just like people that work in that industry now. Like I just have so much more respect for the people that that work in food service. You know Spencer Exum, don't you?
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, he's the proprietor at Outback now. So I had him on my podcast many episodes ago, but he was talking about the slow climb, and yeah, it's just you definitely look at eating out a lot differently since if you worked at a restaurant for sure.
oh yeah. I mean, even to this day, because Laura used to work at Longhorn. Even to this day, me and Laura, we tip well, and when we're done with our plates, we stack them.
Yeah,
Like so it's easier to bus,
yeah.
and we know how to serve. We know how being a server is. So,
That is so true. I think that's how you can tell if you waited on a server or not. If you come back and everything's been pre-bussed and just slid to the end of the table.
oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So, what are some strategies that you would recommend or you used that made your resume stand out when you were looking for a job?
Oh, I mean, one thing obviously change. One thing that I did that I thought helped was whatever position you're applying for, change. Whatever objective or whatever skills that you think would apply for that job that you have, change them. I mean, not don't lie, but I mean, if the job calls for being proficient in Microsoft Office, and say that I have 10 years with Microsoft Office, I'm proficient in Excel and blah blah blah. I think that really helps. I also think like with the resume, if you're gonna don't use a template. Don't use a template resume. Like dress it up a little bit. Add some lines, maybe some graphics, maybe some like. In fact, this is why I'm so grateful to Laura Pickens. She actually sat down with me and helped me with my resume, and I think she has a graphic design background, and she helped me put this like nice little line across the top, goes all the way across the paper, then a little circle, and with the letter M on it, and then a line from the M down, and it kind of creates this nice little design and like formats the resume. And I mean, I still use it today. I still have it today. I haven't used it in years.
Yeah, that's crazy because the reason I asked you that question was I didn't know if like you learned like some marketing yourself tricks or whatever through like your degree plan or something. So, but yeah,
I
that's
mean,
that's really cool.
well, one thing that because we just did a project for the Achieve program up at Three Rivers Community College in Poplar Bluff, and we walked them through, uh, some video. They bought their own video equipment. They needed to know like basically videography. Now that's a lot to cover, but we did a really short snippet of it. But they are also using their video equipment for video resumes instead of just handing out a resume. Creating a video resume, showing their face, talking about some of their skills, which I was like, man, that's brilliant. I think if you did an actual resume and then sent a video resume to the person, I think that helps tremendously. Also, I've always learned like even when you do submit a resume, write a letter and say, hey, I submitted my resume for this job. Would love to hear from you. Love your company. Blah 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 blah. So as many touch points as you can, so you become memorable.
Yeah. You touched on videography just briefly just now. Do you dabble in any of that, or you just leave it to your videographer?
I'm basically like the grip person. So I help set up lights, any C stands, stuff like that. Brad is the videographer. Like when we start in the pre-production phase, when we start talking about scripting, all that stuff, then that's us. That's both of us together talking about, okay, what's the task at hand? How can we convey this? What objectives are we trying to hit? The production and post-production is Brad. He's the one that shoots all the video. He's the one that edits all the video. I'm basically there for like his assistant.
Yeah, I was just curious because that's something I'm trying to learn more about is video. Because obviously I'm learning a lot of audio, doing podcasting and different things. But yeah, I didn't know if you were in Final Cut Pro or whatever video editing software. I didn't know if you dabbled in any of that.
Yeah, we he uses Adobe Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
Um, and then, I mean, honestly, I can have him reach out to you, or you can reach out to him, and you guys can talk shop if you want to. He'd be more than happy to help you out.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd love to interview him, honestly, just because that's another thing that I haven't found for the podcast. So yeah, I mean, if you'd have him reach out or just give me his contact information, I would love to sit down and talk to him for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. Okay. So pivoting back towards like the full circle media side of things, and we've been talking a lot about like applying for jobs and resumes and different things. How does your company recruit and look for new talent? And does previous experience play a factor in that process?
Uh, Depends on the position, but if uh, if we're looking for someone, like I said, that is proficient in like if, for instance, if Brad was looking for a video editor, that person would need to be at least proficient in, like you said, either Final Cut, Adobe Premiere, um, those type services or those type softwares. If it's someone that is trainable, and they don't have to have any experience with any certain softwares or anything of that nature. That's what we look for. Are they trainable? Are they hungry? And do they actually have a heart? Like, do they care?
Yeah.
Well, we don't want somebody to just be a robot. We want them to care about the work that they're doing and kind of like the bigger level of what they're doing. So, like, for instance, if it was a video editor, we want this person to care that this project is the best that it can be, because we're not just doing it for us, we're doing it for this company, and that company employs X amount of people that help X amount of other people. So, like, there's a ripple effect that, yeah, it may just look at like one video, but that video has a bigger effect.
Yeah. So this is something I've always wondered, especially like within companies. Like, how do you go about posting jobs? Like, where are those jobs at? Like, um, sometimes I just get on Indeed and Glassdoor and things like that, and just look for those types of jobs and stuff in Jonesboro, and there's usually very little results. So, like, how would Full Circle Media go about getting a position that was available for them out there?
Well, I mean, obviously we post it on all the job sites because the more the merrier. But
Yeah.
um, what I would do is I would reach out and post on my personal page. Hey, this is what we're looking for. If you know somebody that's interested, um, let me know. We'd love to learn, see if they're a good fit. Another thing, I would probably reach out, depending on what the position is, I would reach out into maybe some Facebook groups and see if, there's anybody in those groups um, that would be looking for a job change or a job.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you answering that because that's always been something that I've wondered. Um, I want to dive a little bit more into the video. Like, what kind of things do you or videos do you guys produce? Like, what are some of the things that you've worked on?
We've done, oh man, we've done explainer videos. So if you're explaining a process, or like one recently is a client of ours is they're looking to do franchising. So we shot a video of the founder explaining the benefits of franchising with her company. Um, so stuff like that, and kind of how that would work. Others are like brand videos. So one project, it's like really one of the coolest projects that we're working on right now, is a local company here. They're wanting to not have to do any videos for their products or their brand for like the next 5 years. So like,
Wow.
yeah, so they're like, I want these set of videos, so I don't have to pay for video work for the next 5 years. So it's like 7 videos, but it's a bigger scale. It's a bigger project. You know, you're talking about what that brand represents, their audience, and how to communicate their brand to their audience. But also where are these videos going to live, and kind of what's our call to action. So it's pretty cool, stuff like that. I mean, another one, um, we actually submitted a proposal last week, which was interesting. Was to generate uh, learning videos, like 1 to 2 minute learning videos, but it's like 42 videos that are,
Jeez.
yeah, that are going to live on a website for basically for education. And I was like, man, that'll be a project.
Oh yeah. I've got a buddy that does marketing in Atlanta, and I ask him, I pick his brain about different marketing things and video projects and things. So I kind of have like a idea of like what people charge for videos and stuff. So when you said 42 videos, I'm like, that's a big task.
Yeah, it's a big task, and it's a big price, but
Yeah,
it's also something that um, that they're in need of, and with us being relatively close, and we're already pretty familiar with them, that we might luck out and get the job.
yeah. So man, I mean, you kind of took the words out of my mouth, but I'm gonna ask it anyway, just in case you had another answer in mind. What's the coolest project you've worked on with Full Circle Media?
Oh yeah, it'd be uh, that local company that we're doing those 7 videos for.
Yeah,
Um, Really, it's 14. We're doing 1 minute videos of each one of their brand, and then one of their parts and service, and then the other 5 of their product line. And then we're cutting those down into 30s as well. So, yeah, it's a large project, but it'll be pretty cool when we get it done.
yeah. That's crazy that that's gonna be able to sustain them for 5 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, and like, so when you think about a project like that, you got to think like, okay, we can't showcase or do any style that is trendy,
Yeah,
and you really gotta it's really got to be like the best type quality. So we're looking at like 6K footage, and the script has to flow for a 1 minute, but also be editable for a 30 second. Um, so I mean, there's a lot to it. There's a lot of moving parts, but yeah, it'll be fun.
yeah. So I don't know if you know any of this off the top of your head, but do you like what kind of gear do you use? You said something about 6K, so I was just wondering like what kind of video equipment do you use?
Oh, we have a Black Magic on order. That's actually coming
Okay,
in
that's like a
this week.
cinematic type of camera, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the one we're actually going to be using for the 6K. Um, Now we'll shoot in 6K, but we'll probably reduce it down into 4K or 1080p, depending. But we want that footage. Um, we've got we've got three, no three, yeah, uh, 3 lights, aperture lights. One with a big dome, and a mini dome. They're LED. We also got some smaller, kind of some like smaller LED lights. that are like backlights. Three of those. Let's see. We got a gimbal. We got a drone. DJI Mavic 2. Let's see what else we got. Uh, we got a couple of bouncers. Um, yeah, I mean it's a lot
yeah.
of equipment. We're
Yeah.
running out of space basically. Like we're bound for an office sometime soon.
Yeah, that's crazy. Especially with the small team that you have, all of this equipment that goes into making these videos. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we especially in like video production, we feel like you got to be pretty versatile because depending on what the concept is, it may call for a gimbal or it may call for a drone or it may call for perfect indoor lighting. So we try to have all that at hand so we can touch on everything and have it at our disposal basically.
Yeah. So, okay, let's say that I had an idea for a project or I was coming to you. What would the process of doing business with your company look like?
So basically, what we do is every new client, we always do like an intro call. So we talk about who we are and kind of what we do, and then we ask them basically the same question: who you are, what you're looking to, or what the business is about, and then we talk a little bit more about whatever the project specifics are, and kind of what they're looking to do, like what's their end goal. So we'll take all that information and then we'll come back and present, hey, from what you've told us, this is what we recommend. And whatever the project may be, whether it's just video work or a combination of digital marketing and video, we set the expectations of like, this is the realistic expectations of what we're proposing. And if they want to move forward, then we go into basically a launch call of how we're going to set everything up, the onboarding, and then manage expectations from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so what are some tips that you would give to somebody that just wants to like learn the basics of digital marketing? Like, do you have
Oh
any like
man,
resources, book recommendations, online courses that you would recommend?
uh, best course is YouTube.
Oh yeah, 100%.
uh, there's so much free information out there; it's absolutely ridiculous. Um, if I was to recommend, I would probably say, in fact, one book I'm reading right now is "Sell Like Crazy" by Sabri Subi. He owns a digital marketing company over in Australia, and I think he scaled that agency to like from zero to like 4 million or 40 million or something like that in like 3 years.
What?
Yeah, I mean it's insane. Uh, and so like that book, like I said, I'm working on it right now. I actually just started it like last week. But he talks about some of the tactics he uses and like also the mindset of how he got there and what he needed to do. But it's pretty good.
Okay.
Um, Other books, I mean, I know I touched on Russell Brunson. He's got a lot of like traffic secrets, um, what is it, .com secrets books. Those are pretty good depending on what you like, depending on what you're wanting to do in the digital marketing space. Because like digital marketing is such a wide term that I mean, it could literally be anything. It could be from just learning Facebook ads to just learning Google ads to learning how to social post and do social campaigns, um, creating websites. Like you talked about doing learning coding. I mean, there's just a ton.
Yeah, yeah, there definitely is. My wife actually has like a blog, and she's trying to figure out her Google AdSense and stuff. So when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's definitely something that we've been trying to figure out for sure.
Yeah, it can be information overload at times.
Yeah, but like you said, I mean, there's so much free information out there. You can legitimately find anything on YouTube. I'm convinced YouTube has everything on it, a video of
Oh
everything.
yeah, yeah. And I think it goes back to our conversation about college that, yeah, I loved college, but mainly, I mean, it was for social. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, there's still people today, like even yourself. Like, I met you through Morgan actually,
yeah,
and that's the only reason we met. And I met Morgan through college,
exactly.
so it's just crazy.
Was it okay? Was it you and Morgan that lived across the street at from Outback?
Yes,
Okay,
me,
okay.
me,
See,
Morgan, and Duggar.
yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. I haven't seen Duggar in so long. Really, I haven't seen Morgan in a long time either, honestly. But
Yeah,
yeah,
both of them are over in Fayetteville.
yeah. Um, that's so crazy because I remember it was like something was going on at your house, and that's when I met you.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in our house.
Oh yeah, for sure. We still drive by it. I was like, man, that's where Meyer and them used to live right there.
I don't
Uh,
know. Laura Laura always points out, she's like, why don't we buy that house? I was like, no. No.
Dude, how
uh,
long how long have y'all been living like over by us?
we've been here two and a half years.
Yeah. It's so crazy because I feel like once I started like I just started riding like my bike. Like I just got a bike for Father's Day, like I said, trying to stay active and different things. And as I like ride around the neighborhood or like walk do a family walk around the neighborhood, I see so many people that I know that live over here. It's like I see somebody new every day.
Yeah, yeah. We were walking the other night, and we passed somebody, said hi and everything. And then we're like, was that, so and so's sister? Like,
Yeah,
oh my god.
yeah,
I didn't even know she lived over here.
exactly. Well, I mean, I think it's pretty cool, man. Getting to see people from college and different things. Where are you from originally, Meyer?
So I was born in California.
Okay.
Uh, I was born in outside of LA in Northridge, and when my mom and dad divorced when I was about, man, I was like 3, and then my mom took me and my brother from Northridge, California to Pocahontas, Arkansas, and we just grew up in Pocahontas, Arkansas.
That's so weird how people can go from like California to Arkansas.
Yeah,
It's so crazy.
the only reason was her mom and dad, my grandma and grandpa, were retired, and they retired in Cherokee Village. So she wanted to be closer to her mom and dad. So she
Mm,
got a job over at Skill, which I don't even know if Skill's even in Walnut Ridge anymore, but there's a Skill manufacturing plant in Walnut Ridge. And she jokes around today that the reason she got that job is because she was the only person that applied with a college degree.
yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, man. Back when our parents were coming up, our college degree was like that. It was like this magical thing that if you could get, you were golden. So
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's just nowadays, I mean, there's so much information at your fingertips. It's just, it's just what do you want to do?
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, you can learn whole subjects for very little money or free using the internet, which is just blows my mind.
100%.
Yeah, so okay, wrapping things up here, what advice would you give to someone that is looking to pursue your career path?
Oh, um, I would, I would say fail and fail often in whatever you want to do. So, like we talked about, if you want to go down, digital marketing or even like mentioned video, um, I would gain as much knowledge as possible, like soak in as much knowledge as possible, like do the work and fail, because that's how you're going to learn. And if you want to gain that experience, if you want to work for a company, say you're gonna, hey, I'd love to do a free internship. or just job shadow, or you know, even if you just go to a business and say, "Hey, I'm learning Facebook ads. Like, I want to test Facebook ads on your business for absolutely free." You know, once you get that knowledge and experience, then you can see, is this really what I want to do? And if this is what I want to do, who do I want to work with, or do I want to do it by myself?
Yeah. So, where can people find Full Circle Media?
Man, you can look us up on Facebook, Instagram. You can go to our website, fullcirclemedia365.com. Um, you can shoot a flare, and if you're in Jonesboro, and I'll probably see it. And from this podcast, I will know that you're looking for Full Circle Media.
That's true. I'm gonna make sure that I get all those links in the show notes. But yeah, so do you have any final words for the listeners out there before we wrap it up?
Man, honestly, if anybody is, looking to have more questions or just talk, especially about digital marketing, honestly, or even about videography, I can have Brad chime in too. Feel free to reach out. I'd love to just help anybody I can.
Well, this has been another episode of the Clever Angle Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed being a part of this interview. Aaron, thanks again for being here, man.
Hey, appreciate it, Tevin.
Until next week, peace.